Hi everyone. So this is actually going to be a live session of how to convert mods for the Simulator Kerala game. So before that, I have to do some preparations because I already finished a mod creation session for Malayalam. So I'm now doing this again for English version. Okay. So before doing that, I have to do some clearing from my desktop because it's all those files are already here. Okay. Okay. So, basically in this video, I am expecting you guys already have some basic knowledge about Windows and how to install some softwares and everything. Because without this basic knowledge, it's going to be very hard for you guys to use Blender and Unity. So if you don't know how to install a software or how to download some softwares, then this tutorial is not recommended for you. Basically, I will only tell things on that level. Okay, it's not going to be a from scratch video. I will just tell how you have to do things, and in case of installing these softwares, I am not going to do that again because it's already installed here, and it's going to be very hard for me to uninstall all these softwares and do a live session on reinstalling everything again. So basically, I will tell you guys which softwares you needs to install and what kind of pop-ups will be shown to you, so you can handle those things. Okay. And let me make sure this live video is just not public for everyone. Okay, so let's start this thing. Okay. So basically, first you have to download some softwares. One software is called Git, not GitHub. It's just Git. Okay, just search Git on the Google. So this will bring you to this website, and you can download this thing for Windows. And if you don't have Windows, if you have Mac or Linux, then you can download it for those operating systems also. Okay, and in your case, you have to Git for Windows x64 setup file, and you have to install those software after downloading. So it's basically just double click and open it, click on all the yes and next button. So that's basically all you have to do to install this Git software. Okay. Then the next thing is you have to go to unity.com, and after reaching this website, you have to create an account for Unity. That's essential because in order to use Unity game engine, you have to create a Unity account. So it's going to be very easy. It's like basic Facebook, Instagram account creation. There is no legal or anything like that. You have to just give name, email ID, and confirmation code. So that's basically everything you needs to create a Unity account. So after creating this thing, you can go to game section, or in the game section you can click on Unity engine itself. So after that you can click on this thing. Sorry, basically not this one. You can click on games, not game engine. Click on games, then you can see this download Unity button over here. then download for Windows, and Unity is also available for Mac and Linux, but you have to follow another tutorials for properly doing it for this operating system. Okay, so just click on download for Windows. It will download this Unity Hub, and similar to Git, you can just double click and open it, then click next, 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 and accept some license if they ask for. Okay, so after installing Unity Hub, you will see this Unity Hub icon. Double click and open it, and in your case they will ask for Unity account login. So just use the same email ID and password that you created in unity.com. Okay, so basically these are two same accounts. So after that, they will most probably ask for a Unity personal license accept pop-up, and you can click on OK over there. Then I'm not sure, because with this latest Unity Hub the method is changed. So maybe they will ask for a Unity installation pop-up also. In that case, you can skip the installation on the lower bottom side of that pop-up. Okay, if you look for skip installation, and you will see some buttons somewhere over here or on the top side, so you can skip the installation. And in some cases the install will be already started, installation will be automatically started. So in that case you can see the downloading over here, so you can cancel it from this download list itself. Okay, so that's how you have to open these Unity Hub software. Okay, so after opening Unity Hub, they will ask for the account login, then a personal license accept, and if they ask for Unity installation, skip the installation and check this download list. If anything downloading here, just cancel all those downloads. Okay, then what you have to do is to download these two files, BSK mode making version 3.1 zip and Windows build. Okay, so in my case it's already downloaded over here. This is the BSK mode in version 3.1 zip and Windows build. Okay, so just double click on this modding version 3.1 zip and extract this file over here. Okay, so it's downloaded and installed over there. Okay, now what you have to do is to open this this project folder from Unity Hub, and before that, if you if you open this folder, you can see these folders over here. And just in case if you want to share this project with others, like after you are let's assume you finished creating this mode. Okay, and you want to send this to another computer or to another hard drive or share with someone, so you have to send it to the pen drive or something like that. Then you don't have to send all these files from here. You only have to select asset, package settings, and slnex, this file also. Okay, so you basically only have to select these for these three folder and one file. So now you can right click and compress to zip from here, and then share that file with anyone else, so they can open it from where you finished the project. Okay, and after, if you open this project with the Unity Hub, then Unity will create some other folders here, and its size will be like 2 GB above. Okay, if you check the size now, it's only 48 MB, but after opening this project with the Unity, it's going to be more than 2 GB. Okay, so if you want to send this project to someone else, only share these four files. Okay, so now let's check how to open this project folder in Unity. So in order to do that, open the Unity Hub, click on this add button over here, then add project from disk. Then go to the location where you extracted this thing and click on BSK modding folder. So in my case, it's BSK modding folder, so that's why I am selecting this one. But for better easy using, you can rename this folder. Like before opening this with the Unity Hub, you can rename this to something else, like this BSK modding Tiger. So this is basically a Tiger coach bus. So I renamed it to BSK modding Tiger for easy understanding. Okay, so now let's click on this and click on open. So now this folder is already added here. I accidentally clicked on the name, so you can cancel the opening from here. Okay, In your case, you cannot open this thing because you don't have Unity installed. You only install this Unity Hub software. You don't have any Unity version installed, basically. So in your case, there will be some warnings like a Unity not found or missing Unity version or something like that. But after you added this project over here, you can see the Unity version here, 6000.0.61 F1. So this is the actual version you have to install. Like you must install this version. That's the basic thing. You must install this specific version. You cannot install some any other Unity version and open this project with this file. You can actually open, but if you take mode build, then there will be issues in the game. So after adding the project to Unity Hub like this, you can see the Unity version over here. Now it's time to install Unity. Okay. So in order to install Unity, you have to go to install section, install editor, archives, download archive. So this will bring a Unity web page like this. So in our case, it's Unity 6000.0.61. So 6000s mean Unity 6. Okay. So click on Unity 6 and all version. If you are watching this video later and when you add this project, then the name is like something like 7000 point, then you have to check whether is there any Unity 7 version available here. So if that's the case, then you have to click on Unity 7. Okay. So just select the Unity version, then all versions, and click on Control F for this pop-up, find pop-up, then write down the number you found. Okay, so basically it's 0.61. Okay, and you can see the specific exact Unity version over here, and click on install, then click on open. Okay, so this will automatically bring the Unity Hub again, and in my case it's already installed, but in your case this will show a pop-up similar to this one. Okay, so in that case you have to make sure this thing is unticked because it's not recommended for you. For mode creation it's not needed. Then you have to install these two things and click on continue, and make sure while installing this Android SDK and NTK tools, if you encounter any errors like if the data is complete or if the Wi-Fi is turned off or the internet is not broken, then if some error happens while installing this thing, it's going to be very hard to install Unity again. In that case, you have to uninstall the Unity again and reinstall it again. Okay, so you have to uninstall the Unity version and install it again. You cannot continue from this point if something some error happens while installing Unity. Okay, so now you have to click on continue, and this thing will ask now click on install. So it will basically install from here. So make sure you have a proper internet connection, otherwise it's going to be very bad. Okay, otherwise you have to uninstall it from here and install it again. Okay, so that's the basic thing. So after installation, so before that it will take too much time to download and install Unity because it's a very big software, not a very simple. It's not like Blender or any software we installed right now. It's going to be a very large software and it will take too much time to install. Okay, so so when it comes to opening this project, you have to click on this version again and choose the current platform as Android and open. And the initial opening of the project will also take too much time because it have to download so many files and everything. So before that, make sure you installed Git before opening any Unity project, otherwise the project will show an error. Okay. So just wait until this opening is it complete the open. It will take too much time depending upon your computer. Only for the very first time, the second time and third time it will be happening very fast. This is just taking too much time because the Unity needs to create some files. Like if I open this BSK modding folder, now you can see too many folders. Before there was only 5 folders or something, but now the library folder, log folder, and temp user settings, these folders are created. And if you check the size, you can see it's 1.8 GB right now, because it's Unity is creating these files. Okay. And while opening this project for the very first time, make sure your computer have a proper internet connection. Okay, so the Unity project is open and there is some error over here, and in order to fix that you have to go to this project window. In your case the layout will be something like this. Okay, something like this, and I'm just moving this over here so I can easily do the work. Okay, and make sure to double click on this thing, this icon, and click on always refresh. And in order to remove this error, you have to click on BSK1 shader and delete this vegetation and symbol, it both of this thing. Okay, and for now let's close Unity, because we have to prepare the 3D file before start working on Unity. Okay, so right now I'll show you guys how to prepare a 3D for mod making. Basically I'm using a already pre-made 3D, like it's already made for Bus Simulator Indonesia, so I'm using the same 3D file to create a mod for my game. Okay, and this 3D file is already done by a YouTube channel. His name is, the channel name is ADKD Gaming. Okay, so this is the 3D we are going to work. It's already been completed by converted by him, but at that time we have no rain or dynamic weather day and night system, so this mode is not compatible right now. So I asked him for the 3D and I'm doing the conversion again for my game. Okay. Okay, and also this Google Drive folder link will be available in the description. I think I forgot to tell that. So I'm extracting his folder over here. Okay, now I will open the Blender. And delete every file from here. I'm also changing the UV layout for now. Okay, so now let's import the 3D file and start working on that. Okay, so import FBX. In your case, you will be making 3D in the within the Blender, so you don't have to import anything. So over here, from here, I am importing the 3D. So the 3D is imported now. And if you go to material preview mode, all the materials and textures are working except this glass. Okay, so everything else is working fine without an issue. Okay. So one of the main issue we face while making 3D for game is backface culling. If you already familiar with this 3D work with the game, you already know that what is backface culling. So it's basically means right now you can see this area is correct, but if we enable this backface culling here, you can see the change. Now we are seeing it from the inside out. Okay, so but finding this error like this is very hard, because from this distance it's not noticeable. So in order to perfectly see all the faces with such issues, what you have to do is first make sure you have a latest version of Blender, because it's not available in the old version. So if you click over here and click on this face orientation, you can see this in red color because the face is having an issue. And if you go inside, you can see all these glasses is having the same issue. If you look from inside, it's red, basically means the normally is having some kind of error. So you can fix this if you go to edit mode and alt N flip. And in this video I am not going to explain how to do this 3D or what is these all options or anything like that. I am, like I said, I am already expecting you have a basic Blender knowledge. What is materials, what is base color, what is a texture, how to add them, what is roughness, such as this. So I am expecting you already have experience with that. Okay. So the normal issue is fixed. Now there is something to deal with the glass. Basically we have rain glass in our game, but we only create that from Unity, not from the Blender. So I am deleting this default rain glass from this 3D. And you can see this mesh is also having some error. I mean the texture is missing, so I am deleting that object also. Okay. Now what you have to do is to, for easy workflow, you have to move all the glass to another collection. Like I'm creating a new collection, glass. Now let's click move this glass to there, and I'm disabling this glass layer so I can see which glass I already moved, so I don't accidentally move the glass again. Okay, so all the glass, sorry, the rear glass is still there. All the glass is moved to this glass collection. And if you look over here, you can see the scale is different. The scale is not one, and the rotation is also having some value. And while you work with the Unity, make sure when you export an object, most of the object is having a 0 0 rotation and 1 1 1 a scale, except wiper, steering, the meter needle, something like that, because they already need a rotation there. So but make sure the scale is 1 1 1 in most of the cases. Okay, so in order to do that, select every object, control A, rotation and scale. So now the rotation and scale is 1. If you only want to change the apply the scale, then only apply the scale. If you want to only apply the rotation, then only apply the rotation. Okay. So in order to fix the backface culling, just select this object, go to modifier section, add modifier, generate, add a solidify modifier, and make sure it's a very nice value. I mean, not that much thick. Okay. Then add modifier, normal, smooth by angle. So that will fix that shading issue here. Now select every object and make sure the active selection on the object that we already added this modifier. Now click on Ctrl L and copy this modifier. So now all these glasses have two sides. So that error is fixed for now, and I can see some error over here, so I'm just fixing this one too. Okay, that's okay. And this is basically a solidify error because it's very thin, so that's why the face is going in out here. Just a second. Okay, so the glass part is done. I am just saving this for a safety purpose. Okay, now I am re-enabling this one, and if you look over here, you can see some cameras here, but the texture is missing in this case also, so I have to delete them. And there are multiple cameras, like where is this one located? Okay, so this one is over here, and another one is, I think it's on the back. So in order to delete them, they have child also. So let's select this all three parents, right click, select hierarchy and delete. So everything will be gone. And I also noticed there is some object sitting over here and I have no idea what this thing is. So I am just deleting that one also. Okay. Now if you go to front view, I can see some issues with the 3D model itself. So I have to fix this one. In your case, it will be already fine. So you don't have to edit any UVs or anything like that. I'm just seeing some damage here. That's the only reason I am doing it. Okay. And while you make a skin or anything like that, make sure you have some padding already added to the textures. Okay. So like this, make sure there is some texture is already extended from here. So even in low resolution, there will be no issues. Okay. So the light is fixed, but you can see some this glass is rotated. So I have to do it from the project from view angle. So that's done. Now there is two indicators with the same issue and one more fog lamp. Okay. So this is not perfect, but this is okay. Okay, so the light issue is already fixed, and now the main work is to properly name these materials and the meshes. Okay, so basically naming is very good because in later stage also we have to select specific objects like the glasses and everything. So it's much better to make sure you have a proper naming, and I think I forgot to name the glasses. Okay, so I am naming it right now. So glass main, and these are going to be side glass. I'm doing this because in later in Unity we have to select each glass separately. So at that time, it will be much better if we already have named our glass. So we can search every glass with the name glass because every, every glass is having that name, that word glass in their name. Okay. So if you just simply type glass like this in Unity, it will show all the glasses. Okay, so the selection will be much easier in Unity. So that's why I'm naming everything correctly. Now let's name these lights. Okay, so this is going to be the park light. Okay, so this is park light. I am naming it to, sorry, wrong object. Park light. Now now these two headlights are joined, so I have to separate them before naming. So this is light park. Sorry, that was actually I'm renaming this thing again in a different way. Like light comes first, so every light will be listed near, like this. See now, light dim is here, light park is over here, so selection will be much easier. Everything will be next to each other. So light bright, light indicator left, light indicator right, and I'm going to join these lights with this spark light. So that we will only have one single light. Okay, so every light in the front is already done. Okay, now let's go to the interior. We have some meter lights over there. So at night the meter is also going to lit, so light meter, and we already have needles in Unity itself, but I'm going to just keep it so I can show you how to disable unwanted 3D objects after reaching Unity. Okay, so that is done, and now let's go to this interior light. So this one, light interior. Now go back. Basically, you can see that normal issue over here. It's showing because we disabled the black back glass. Okay, so basically the glass is going to have a full sticker over here, so it's not going to be transparent. Okay, so now let's click over here. Light indicator left rear. Right rear. Now these two is also joined together. I am going to separate it so I can have a park and brake light here. So light park rear, light brake, light reverse. So I think we have one more. Okay, it's already joined with others, so no issues. So this thing is completed. I mean, light object separation and renaming is completed, but we have the materials. So make sure we have a proper named material too. So in my case, all the lights in the front is using the same material. So that's why I only changed the two materials name. So every light in here is having the light front, and every light on the back is having light rear, because basically they're only using two images. Okay, so you can see the texture is called lights, and over here it's called capital letter light. Basically they are two different textures. Okay, so one is this one, and the other one is lights, this one. So basically we are in this 3D we only using these two images, so that's why there is only two light materials, and yeah, that's the basic thing. Now what we have to do is to separate the tire. Okay, so basically when we export 3D to Unity, we simply export tire, steering wheel, and the body in a separate way, as separate 3D meshes for easy working. Okay, So first I'm going to just simply delete all the tires on the right side, only keeping the left one because this is the only thing we need. Okay, so right click, new collection, tire, and move this thing to tire collection. And in case of tire also I'm going to properly name the material, so it's called tire, and this is the front left wheel, and this is going to be the rear left wheel. And in this case, if you look to the this item, you can see the rotation and scale is different in this case also. So control A, rotation, and apply. Okay, so the tire part is completed. Now let's move the steering wheel, and if you look over here, this is the actual parent. You can see this, but this object is actually a child of another one. You can see it here. This steering is actually a child of it. So I am clicking on Alt P and clear and keep transform. Then I'm going to move this object to a new collection called steering wheel. Okay, and you can see now the steering is having some child, but it's faded because I only selected this particular object, so that's the reason. So now right click, select hierarchy, and now click on M and steering wheel. So now you can see every object is moved over here. So that's done, and I'm disabling this thing. Okay, so now go to the side view, orthographic, and if you have any rotations added to your steering, just make sure it's clear and control A and apply the scale. So now the scale is 111 and rotation is 00, and make sure your steering is placed like this, exactly like this. Okay, so just imagine your steering is like this, then you have to rotate it perfectly straight and click on control A and rotation, so the rotation becomes 000. Okay, so the steering wheel part is also completed. Now let's check on mirror. Okay, so click on this mirror, properly name them so we can select it easily. So mirror left, and I'm using this as mirror center left because in our game there is no center mirror, so I'm going to use this mirror as the left side. Now select on this one and call it mirror right, and I'm going to remove material from these mirror objects. Okay, basically we only have to add it from Unity, no needs to create any special materials here. And if you select this thing, you can see mirror center is here, mirror left is here, but the mirror right is not available here because it's a child of another object, I think. So you can see it's a child of another object, so I am going to clear the parent for this object too. So I'm clearing this parent. I cleared this parent and renamed everything like this because if you look to this workflow, like we have to properly unwrap the mirror. So we have to go to this front view, select the mirror, go to edit view, and if it's okay, you can go to wireframe mode. Okay, now you project from view bound. Now select the left mirror. See, now the mirror name are correct, so we don't have to rotate like this and select it, then again go to front view. We don't have to do that because the name is perfect and it's placed next to each other, so we can select it from the hierarchy itself. So that's the main reason I am renaming most of the objects from the Blender. Okay. Okay, so all the mirrors are done. Now we have to do is configuring the wiper. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm creating a new collection called wiper. So move these two wipers to that collection. Basically I'm doing this for easy working. Okay, like see, right now I can isolate these objects and work on that. So that's the only reason I'm making these kind of things. So you can see the mirror is here because I think I accidentally moved it. Now clear the rotation from the wiper, from the both wiper. Uh, Actually, okay, move this thing to collection. Okay, select wiper, then reset the rotation like this. Reset the rotation like this. Okay. Now if you look it from the side view, you can see both wiper have different orientation at 0, 0, 0. Okay. So what you have to make sure is if we come to this top view and go to rotation tool, then we have to make sure the orientation is local. Okay. So now we can rotate this object in the Z axis or on the blue axis. Okay, so that's the thing we have to make sure we can do it, because if it's going to be a different color over here from the top view, then it's going to be very hard to do it from the Unity side. Okay, and make sure the Y is like this and X is over here. Okay, so that this is a very important thing. You have to make sure in the local axis view, when the wiper rotation is 0, 0, 0 and the wiper is rotated like this, the Z is up, Y is on this axis and X is on this axis. So you can basically see you have to match this thing with this thing. Okay. But in this case, the axis is correct, but the wiper orientation is not correct. See, wiper is on the side view, not like this one. So I'm going to edit view and select everything. Before that, for easy rotation, I'm going to move the cursor to this point, 3D cursor. Now go to edit view and rotate 90 degree. Okay. So now if you look over here and go to rotation tool, we can rotate it here. Okay. Now enable the old collection and properly orient it with the vehicle. Okay, I am expecting an error in the Unity again, so don't worry if don't worry, we can fix the any animation issue in the Unity itself also. I am expecting, I am not sure they'll show some error, but I am expecting some error in Unity. Okay. So the wiper is correctly oriented, and now you don't have to apply the rotation, but you have to apply the scale. So Control A scale, Control A scale. So the wiper rotation is also completed. Now let's check for door parent child relation. Okay. So for this I am enabling the glass. So the glass is also needs to be the child of door. Okay. So I am rotating. Okay. So this door is correctly child parent. Okay. Both the door is working fine. Okay. So both the door child parent relation is working fine without any issues. Now, what we have to do is there is an issue to this particular 3D, that's the center is a bit shifted to the right side. Okay, so I'm going to move this object to the sorry. So when you basically move every object, you have to make sure it's on global. Okay. So now the center is correctly aligned almost. Okay, so that thing is done. Now you have to make sure the shift S cursor to world origin, and this point is on the this area. Okay, so select every object. Select every object means the wiper except the tire and steering, select every other objects. Okay, so now move this object over here. So the vehicle's front is going to be exactly on this point up and this point down. Okay, so this is essential, this is an essential point. Otherwise, if you go to Unity and try to scale the vehicle, then everything is going to be different. Okay, now create an empty object, a plain axis, and move this wiper glass, this wiper back to the original collection, the glass to the original collection also. Now come over here and select all the objects. Okay, make sure you don't select any child like this, only the parents. Okay, so only this parent, and last select the newly added empty and control P, object keep transform. Okay, so now every object is the child of this empty object. It's an essential thing for scaling in Unity, because um, it's going to be very hard without this empty file. Okay, so without creating this empty and making everything child of it. Okay, so that part is done. Now we have to create a collider object. So mesh cube, basically create a basic collider object, a very simple one for using in Unity. Okay, so I am going to create one. Okay, so I just created a basic collider, so naming it to collider, and I'm going to move it to a new I'm going to move it to the wiper collection and renaming it to collider, because the wiper collection is no longer needed, and moving this empty to the original collection, so everything will be shown as the child. And this collider is shown hidden. I don't know how to enable it. I think it's basically due to some old version 3D file or something like that. I have no idea how to enable them again. Okay, so this collider work is also done. Now what we have to do is to export the UV. Okay, so basically creating a UV is very simple. Select an object, make sure the name is skin body. So basically this is the material with the livery or skin image. Okay, select the glass. Glass is also having the same kind of thing, so I'm naming it as skin glass. So both of these objects will be placed next to each other. So in order to export the UV, I think you already know that because you guys are doing 3D. So click on Shift L, select material. So every glass with the skin material will be selected. Now click on tab and go to edit mode. Now you can export this UV layout with a higher resolution like 4096, and create a new folder called output and glass UV. Now select a body with a skin body material, shift L material. So every object with the skin body material will be selected. Now export the UV layout, same, but instead of glass, it's body. So if you select every object like this, then you can make sure no object is missed, because Blender will automatically select every object that is using this body material, and in case of glass, the glass material. So we can make sure that every object is selected which is using this skin texture. Okay, so UV is exported. Now we can export these 3D files. So click on this empty, select every object. So the active selection will be this empty object. Make sure you have the entire body and glass selected. Okay, you can exclude tire, steering wheel and collider. So everything is selected. Now go to file, export FBX. Okay, and there is a special thing you have to do. You have to make sure the path is copy and this icon is enabled, batch mode is off, this icon is enabled, selected objects only, visible objects only, empty, mesh, other. You can select this with the shift key. The scale is 1, all local, y minus forward, z up, apply unit, and just keep every setting similar to this. Okay, now I am exporting body. Now I will export the tire one by one. So file, export FBX, front left tire. And before exporting, make sure you have the scale and rotation at 0, 0, 0. Okay, that's a real thing to check. And in case of steering wheel, make sure you select all the child. So in order to do that, select hierarchy and file, export FBX, steering, and the collider is already having perfect scale and rotation. So file, export FBX, collider. Now saving this Blender file and closing. So most of the work from the Blender side is finished. Now we can move on to Unity. Okay, so you open Unity Hub, and you already know we already opened this project by selecting like this. Okay, so for the next time you don't have to open like that, we can just simply click over here. Like I said, now the project opened very quickly because we already opened, so all the files necessary to um, all the files that Unity have to generate is already done and everything is downloaded. So basically this time Unity opened it very quickly. So for a very brief intro, you can right click and use WASD to navigate in the view space. You can select any object and click on F to focus on that particular one object. And in order to create a basic 3D shapes, you can right click and choose 3D object and add it from here. But not everything is supported, like terrain. Making a terrain in a vehicle mode is not a very good option. And Unity's default lighting will work, but that's not a good idea. Actually, I think I turned off Unity lighting in the game, so even if you add these lights, it's not going to work on Unity. Okay, so be and also check whether this is going to be a very performance intensive item, like the reflection probe, real time reflection probe is going to be a very performance intensive item. So make sure you don't add such Unity features into a player vehicle mode. So just search on Google that does this feature is very performance intensive, and check and make sure it's not that performance intensive. So now what we have to do is, yeah, the intro to Unity. Okay, so this is basically the working environment and this is the game view, basically the camera output. Okay, so this is the camera output. So if I disable this thing, no camera renders. Okay, I am moving this over here, and instead of free aspect, I am choosing this one, 2160 into 1080. Okay, so if Unity is not showing Android over here, then you have to make sure use open Okay, in this case the project is already open, that's why it's saying like that. So you have to close the project. If Android is not showing here, you have to close this project and select this one, current platform, Android, and open. Okay, you have to do it like that. So this is the project window. Project window have this asset section. Every file is every working file is located inside this thing. Just ignore this environment and RP asset. If you make any changes here, that's going to make no difference. I mean, it will make a difference in this project, this Unity, but not in the game. So make sure you don't change anything here. All the working files will be located inside this BSK folder. Okay. And this hierarchy is basically the outliner in the Unity, and inspector is going to show the details of every object we select. And if you want to lock this thing for some drag and drop, like if I click over here, it's going to change it to this view. So if you want to drag and drop, you can click over here. Now if I click here, then it's not going to change, so you can simply drag and drop to any field. Okay. So this lock feature is also available here for the project window, so make sure it's not locked. Okay. And if you go to the scene view and open the sample, don't save this one, you can see the default KSRTC, and these are basically the light mode, unlit mode, wireframe, shaded wireframe, and wireframe. Okay. Okay, so this is the default KSRTC or BSK2 3D file. So I'm already given this, so you can check this file. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is to import all the 3D files we created. So in the desktop, I'm going to select this output folder and drag it entirely. So the output folder is here. Now let's make sure we go to this model section, convert unit turned off, bake axis conversion turned on, and hit apply. So now you can see the bus is here. Okay. Now in order to get the color, go to material section. You, instead of use embedded materials, use external materials. Make sure you select from models material. These settings is make sure you have these settings correct. Okay, don't select anything else from models material. Okay, now hit apply. Now this is going to extract all the images and everything from the Blender to Unity and create all the materials. So it's already done, and you can see the 3D is having proper materials here. Okay, now do the same for the tire. Collider don't have or need any material, so don't do that there. So for tire, choose the same. Sorry. Okay, hit apply. Select the rear wheel. Apply. Select the steering wheel. Apply. Okay. So you have to make sure you did this before doing anything else. Okay, so this is an essential thing. Now if you go to materials folder, select every material, and you can see shader here. This is basically the principal BSDF shader in Blender, or the basically if you click on here you can see many shaders, but make sure you only choose BSK one. Okay, BSK common lit. That's because only this shaders come under BSK work with the night light. Okay, our vehicle headlight and the street light only hit with the materials that we created using the shader under common and vehicle section. Okay, so change it to BSK common lit, and if you go to body.fbm, you can see all the textures we are using in the body.fbm. So before that, just drag this body over here and reset everything. Okay, so you can see our vehicle in exact position as KSRTC. Just move it over here, and you can see the vehicle is a bit big, so go to the side view like this, go to wireframe view, and go to scale mode and scale it down. Okay, so it's basically scale it down. So this is the reason I told you to add the empty over the very front. So if we scale, we can see it's only going to change to the back and upside, not to down and front. So the scaling is pretty much easy for us. Okay, so the first thing we have to do before start scaling is we have to make sure our vehicle's front point is matching with the KSRTC. Okay, so the Z value will be 0, but on the X make sure it's correct aligned. Now start scaling. Okay, you can use the WESD for changing between these tools. Okay, so in my case, I already know the correct scale is 0.73, but instead of scaling, keeping the scale into 0.73, that's not a very good option. Okay, so in order to do that, I am resetting it back to 1. And I already know the scale is 0.73, so go to this model section and select every other object we already exported. Set disable the convert unit and enable the bake axis. Okay, and set the scale factor to 0.73 here and apply. So even without changing the scale here, the vehicle is now exact at 0.73 scale. Okay, now you can see the scale is 1, but it's changed to that 0.73 scale. And changing these object scale is also essential because we already 3D model this these 3D with having that vehicle at that scale. So when we reduce the scale of this body, we have to change the scale of these 3D models also. Okay, so now go to body.fbm. You can see this textures is having it 2048 into 2048 2.4 MB. So you have to optimize that. Go to default and change it to 512 something. And you can see the quality doesn't that much matter because it's already inside. So now it's only 154. Okay, so it's very good. And I have no clue where I'm using this texture, so I am basically reducing it to 512. And this is the frame, so we are not going to zoom in this much, so we'll be watching it from this distance. So I think we can also reduce it to 512. Not that much difference, but the size is very different, 0.77 right now. Now this cloth also going to be 512. No issues. These are characters. Characters is already only having 256 into 256 with 39 KB, so I don't think that's a very bad thing. And this texture is only having 1024 into 1024, but you can see the maximum size is 2048, but the image is only 1024. It's already in 1024, not at 2048. Okay, I think we can reduce it back to 512, and the quality difference is not that much, so the rear light I am also going to change it. The meter is only 512 right now, so I don't think we have to reduce it again. Now this is just a plain texture. There is no detail in RGB color channels, but it's 2K and 2.4 MB, so we can reduce it to 32 something because it's just a plain color. Okay. Now this team icon, so I think I can do it to 256, but you can see the background is not transparent in this case. So in order to do that, you have to make sure the alpha source is input texture alpha and alpha is transparent, tick and hit apply. So now you can see the background is removed. So in case of livery texture also make sure it's same settings. And because this is a livery or the skin, I think the 2048 is essential. Okay, this is the seat, so we are not going to look into the seat from this distance, so I think 512 is good. And this is the cabin. I cannot reduce it that much because if I reduce it too much, you can see this area is getting very blurred, so I have to keep it at 1K. So make sure when you do some materials like this, use a tiling material instead of baking it to this one. Something like this, you have to use the tile material, so we can keep it to something like 256 or even 128 in that case. And for this one also it's not that detailed, so 256 also good. We are only going to see it from this distance, so it doesn't matter, it's even 128 is okay, I think. Okay, now let's set the glass and this icon material. So let's select this object, go to material section, material, and set this from opaque to transparent, and it's already done. Okay, now select the glass, and when you select each of this thing, make sure when you click first time, then you can see a blue outline because this is selected as the parent. It's only selected the parent object. If you click again, you are going to see a orange outline and it's selected the exact object. You can see glass main. Okay, now select the skin glass material from here. Go to BSK common glass and select the PMS texture or the skin texture. Okay, so now you can see it's just completely dark because you have to set the color to white and they reduce alpha to make it transparent. So 10 is a good thing if you don't have an additional tint added to the texture. Okay, so in order to see the reflection, make sure you have your roughness is 0. Now you can see the reflection over here but not here. So in order to see the reflection over here, you have to make sure the specular is high. Okay, so now you can see that. Now select the skin body and do the same so the body become reflective. Okay, it's too good now. Maybe you can change the metallic to specular, so the lighting calculation will be a bit different. Okay. Okay, so that part is done. So most of the materials and everything is done. And there is one more thing, that is tire texture. And I think it's already optimized to 300 KB. So we don't have to do any optimization or any size reduction. So now let's delete this body. And now let's start working on this actual file. Okay, so if you go to project view and select this object and click on this prefab section, you can see the actual file here. The name is mode testing, so I'm just renaming it to Control or something like this. And as the name is different here, I am deleting this thing again and dragging it again. Okay, not dragging over here, dragging it here, so the location will be at 000. So now let's expand this thing and delete already existing body and this collider object. Instead of that, let's move our body and collider object. Okay, so when you do that, make sure to select both this object and reset this transform. So now you can see everything is in place. And in case of collider, just select this thing, disable this mesh renderer, and add a mesh collider and do this convex. So now the collider is added. Okay, now let's start with the wheel itself. Okay, so go to the side view, go to wheels and select the front wheel first. Okay, so when you can click on F, but right now this is just clipping through the left side wheel, so select the left side wheel and click on F 2 times. Now select this one, so move it over here. Now you can see the 3D file is here, so just expand these things. Okay, so in case of wheel, how the wheel is configured is a bit different. So we have a group wheel, every wheel comes under this object, and the first object. Okay, so this object is having a wheel collider object. This is the basic physics item, and you can see when you select this object, you can see the green line. Not only green line, there is also some see these orange lines also there. So this is the physics object, and if you go to the child, there is a wheel mesh object, and don't do anything to these two objects. Okay, these two means every wheel is having these two objects, so don't do anything here. Instead, this wheel mesh is having the actual 3D file. Okay, so now you can delete these 3D files from here, and you can also see the 3D file is having a different icon. Okay, so make sure you don't delete, and if you delete, make sure you press Control Z instead of creating a new object again, because there is a lot of references going over here, like this wheel collider mesh. See, so there is a lot of references here, so don't delete this thing. If you delete, make sure you press Ctrl Z, so the reference will be automatically filled up. So now let's drag this front left side wheel and reset the transform. So it came over here. Now select this object with the wheel collider. So when I do something, make sure just check which object I am selecting. Is this wheel mesh, or is this wheel collider object, or the 3D actual 3D file? So when I do something, just check which object I am selecting and making the changes. Okay. So now let's select the object with the wheel collider and go to suspension spring. Here, this is where we are setting the suspension spring force and damper force. So suspension, when we increase the suspension spring value, it becomes stiffer, and when we increase the damping force, it make it actually slowly move. Like if the damper is 0, then the vehicle keep bouncing, but if we add some value like this, like 10 percentage of the spring value, then it will slow down after 2 or 3 up and downs. Okay, now you can see the target position. So at 1, it will be at the very top point. Okay, so this is the actual top point, the maximum the wheel can rise up, and 0 means the maximum the wheel can drop. Okay, so now let's move to 1 and change the radius. So in this case, the radius is 5.5. I already know this value because I already done a tutorial for Malayalam. Okay, so that's the basic thing. And when it comes to the mass of the wheel, make sure it's right now it's 12,000. So I just removed the last point, so it's 1,200. So make sure you change the wheel mass accordingly. So the radius is found. Now what we have to do is make sure this change is copied to the other side also. So it's 1.55 radius. Okay, now you can see the tire is not hitting, because as the target position is 1, this is the maximum the wheel can range. So you can up this thing to the maximum point the wheel can go up. In most cases it's like this, but I'm just keeping it over here. Now drop it to 0 and adjust the suspension distance to the point where the wheel can maximum drop down, and set the target position as where the wheel rests while it's in normal working condition. Okay, so now I am going to copy this value. Just select one object only and copy this component, and select the rear two wheels and paste it there. Paste component values. So now the rear wheel is also having the same radius and suspension distance and everything. Now let's copy the front wheel to the other side too, but here there is a small difference. Okay, just reset it. Okay, the small difference is first you have to come to the front view. This is the front view, and you can see the physics object itself is sitting outside the vehicle body. So I am moving the object with the wheel collider itself. And when you move this wheel collider object, make sure this green line is on the side of the bus. Like if you place it like this, then the physics object is at the center, so the chance for turning this vehicle, I mean, the vehicle will easily fall. Like when we hard turn on very high speed, then the chances of falling this vehicle, or what it's called, flipping, the vehicle will flip easily. Okay, so make sure this physics line or this green line is sitting on the side of the object. So now you know the position. Just right click, copy, go to the right side, right click and paste. So it's now sitting on the left side, so you have to remove the negative value. And you can see the tire is located outside, and that's because this is actually left side wheel, so you have to rotate it 180 degree to make sure it's on the correct orientation. Now you have to move this wheel to the rear wheel and select both of them, reset. And for rear wheel, I'm selecting the left side. You can see it's already on this side, so it's a very good position, but the tire is sitting outside, so I am moving the tire. Now I am copying the position of the tire, so I have to paste it back to the tire on the other side. And make sure the x is negative, because this time the x was positive. So when I copy it over to the other side, you have to make it negative. If the copied value is negative, then you have to remove the negative and rotate it 180 degree. So both wheels are perfectly fine, but I forgot to adjust the wheel position over here, and the height also. It's 0.0222, so the rear wheels also needs to be raised up. So the wheel configuration is complete, but instead of hitting Control S, you have to hit on this overrides and apply all. So that's the only way these changes will be returned to this actual file. Okay. So the wheel collider adjustment, the spring value and everything is done, but just in case if you needs to create a multi-axle vehicle, then what you have to do is to go to these wheels and just simply duplicate it again. Okay, so I am duplicating the rear two wheels, do Control D to duplicate, move it back. Okay, just assume it's over here. Okay. And if you want to test the suspension, you can simply hit play. The 3D won't be moving, but the vehicle physics will be working perfectly fine. You can see it. If you select this object entirely, you can see the green, the physics line is already working perfectly fine. See? And if you select this parent object and move up and drop, you can see the suspension is working. And if you reduce the spring value to like 1000 or something, and selected this object and moved up, see now it's fully compressed, because the 1000 value is not enough, because it's already 12,000 for the vehicle. So 12,000 into 9.8 for gravity value. See now you can see the suspension. And if I add the damper to 0 and move up and down, now you can see it's keep bouncing because the damping value is 0. But if I add the damping value, see now it's stabilizing. Okay, so basically I calculate the suspension value like the vehicle weight into 9.8 for the gravity times 2. Then I simply copy this value to damping value and multiply it with 0.1. Okay, now if I select this parent and drop it, you can see that. And right now the front is hitting very hard because we have two axles. So in that case you have to adjust the spring value here, and also we have the center of mass, so you have to move it back. But there is one thing, all these changes after you stop playing, all these changes it will lose. So in that case what you have to do is select a component and copy component, then stop playing. Now the value will be resetted. Now you have to paste component value. So that's a thing to remember. Okay, so basically in order to add multi-axle, you have to copy this thing. Now select this parent object, lock this thing, because we have to do lot of changes here. Go to this wheel section, wheel renderer. Now expand both this list. Okay. Now add each of these wheel object. Okay. So there is an order: right side, left side. So right side collider first, then left side collider. Then select the child in this same order, wheel mesh. Okay. So that section is complete. And now for axle, add new element. Set the wheel collider to 0. Now for this, do the same thing. Okay. In this case, we only have to add this wheel collider, but there is multiple options like steering wheel, engine, steering, engine, handbrake, brake. So if you tick this thing, then when you steer the vehicle, the steering is going to apply to these two or these two wheel colliders. And in case of engine power will be delivered. If it's unticked, then no engine power will given to that wheel. Handbrake is for applying handbrake, and brake is for applying the normal brake. And this is the steering factor value, because in some multi-axle vehicle, the back wheel will be rotated into the opposite side. So if you make it -1, then it's going to be on the opposite side. And if you make it -0.5, then it's going to be on the opposite side, but only halfway, because some value into 0.5 means half of the value. So basically, if you rotate the steering 45 degree to the right side, then negative will make it to the left side, and 0.5 make it to the half of 45, like 22.5 or something. Okay. And if you make it like -2, then it's going to be double the steering value. So don't do crazy things with this thing. It's physics. Okay. So that's for the axle. And there is one more thing, that is balancing rod. Balancing rod will make sure the vehicle won't roll. Okay. On the hard turning, it prevent the vehicle from easily rolling. So add the new element, and here you can see left wheel. So left wheel, right wheel. Then you can see left wheel transform. So it's not the child, it's the same object, but you have to drag and drop again. Okay. Because it's called a wheel and wheel transform. This one is called for wheel transform. So if you select an object, any object, you can see this is the wheel, actual wheel collider. You can see the green icon there, and here also. And this is wheel transform. Transform means this thing, transform. So it's asking for this two different thing on the same object. So drag and drop the same object. Okay. And let's say if you don't need the this additional axis, instead of just deleting like this, you have to move it, remove it from the list also, because you can see missing wheel collider. This is going to throw an error in the game, and the error game won't be working. So you have to remove it. So in this case, I can simply delete the entire element. Here also I have to select the element and delete it. Okay. Now the center of mass is here. If you go to the side view, you can see the center of mass is located here. You can adjust this value. So based on it, the physics will automatically assign the value to this rigid body. Okay. Rigid body is the actual physics object, or the thing that is handling the physics. You can see the mass over here. Okay. So everything related to the wheel is done. Now the body is added. Now the thing is, we have to configure the shadow. Okay. So if you move this thing again, you can see a hard shadow over here. That's basically this object. Okay. This object. So if you go to top down view, you can see this white line is actually located outside the vehicle, because KSRTC was a bit longer. So we have to move it inside. So just go to top view for easy working. Click on this object, move it over here, and now you can see a dotted line here. And because of the same, you can see a hard shadow ending. So you have to set the tiling back to 1 and 1 and 0 and 0. So now the hard end is gone. Okay. And make sure this object is not the overlapping that much with the vehicle tire, because this thing is going to create some see this kind of shading on the tire. So make sure it's it's not that much overlapping with the tire. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you a simple thing that will improve your vehicle's performance. Okay. So the thing is, our vehicle 3D is very high poly. It's almost like 2075 lakh. So it's a very high amount for mobile. I usually keep it under 45,000 or 50,000. Okay. So in that case, we have two mirror and one main camera, then shadow. So it's multiplying. So for the main camera, it's 2,75,000. For the mirror camera, both sides, so it's again 2,75,000 for each camera. Then for shadow, it's again 2,75,000. So it's like four times. So basically, if we consider the 2,75,000 as 2,50,000, then it's already 1 million vertice for just single bus. So in order to save from shadow, what you have to do, if you click on this object, you can see there is a mesh render object and cast shadow is turned on. So what you have to do is to turn off these shadows, and this is just an optional item because it's related to performance only. Okay, so you can select objects like this and make sure you selected the child object also. Okay, so in order to do that, what you can do, select one object and click on the right button. Okay, right arrow button, so it will basically open every child like this. Okay, so this thing is done. So now select every object, but in your case, there might be some issue like you won't see this mesh render because if you select some object, let's see this object is not having any mesh render. So if you have some empty game object without any vertex, and if you try to select everything like this, then this mesh render won't be showing. It will be showing like this. See components that only some selected object cannot be multi-edited. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to select like this and check which object is having not having that mesh renderer. So you have to select like this, and if this object is not having, when you select on it, it will disappear. So just remove the selection, cast shadow to off, then keep selecting the remaining object. So do it like that. Okay. In my case, all the child object is already having mesh render, so no issues. I can simply select like this and turn off. Now you can see our tire and steering wheel is the only thing that's having the shadow, but luckily we already have a collider, so we can enable this mesh renderer. So now you can see the collider, but instead of cast shadow, make sure shadow only. So now this thing is only having shadow and the collider. So now this is a very much better performance optimized shadow. Okay. And if you can also create a basic cylinder for the wheel and just drop it over here. If you look to the KSRTC, you can see there was two files. One is the 3D file and one is for the shadow casting. So uh, in case of tire, it's pretty much easy. You can just simply right click 3D object, a cylinder, and remove this capsule collider. Now rotate it 90, sorry, not 90. Yeah, actually 90 degree, and over here 90 degree, and go to scale, sorry, this one, and over on the Y, scale it down, go to front view and position it correctly. Okay, now the width is correct. And this thing is also correct. We don't have to do that much. So now shadow only. So now the tire is we don't have need the tire to cast any shadow. So it's going to be a pretty much optimized shadow for the wheel also. But I'm just not going to do that whole thing here because this is not an optimization tutorial. Okay, so that shadow optimization is also done. We added the colliders and everything. Okay, now let's jump to horn. Okay, so horn in from the version 3.1 we have two horn in the game. One is with the horn icon. If you press on the horn icon, you can hear one sound, and if you click on the steering wheel, center of the steering wheel, you can see the another horn. So that's basically horn 2. Okay, And in order to assign a horn, you can just simply drag and drop any MP3 file here, and just it will show something like something like this. Okay, you can actually preview the sound from here itself. So just select the horn and drag the MP3 file you added to actually to here. Okay, and assign the horn type to 1 or 2. So horn 1 can be customized by the player itself from the customization window. Okay, for horn 1 they can go to the customization section and import the mp3 file they like. But for horn 2, which is triggered from the center of the steering wheel, and it cannot be customized, it's your choice. So in my case I am just keeping it as same as the KSRTC one. Okay, so adding horn is also completed. I am just applying all the changes we made. Now now there is a skin changer. Okay, so if you want the players to add custom skins to your vehicle, you have to give a reference to, you have to drag and drop which materials are using the custom skin. So in our case it's the skin body and skin glass material. Only these two materials are using the actual skin texture. So in order to do that, just select this object, go over to vehicle skin changer, set this to 0 because that's the KSRTC one. Okay, now go to materials and drag and drop the materials which are used in the skin texture. Okay, so that is also done. Apply. Now we need to change the steering wheel. So if you go over here to the steering wheel, you can see the old 3D which was used in the KSRTC. So you can simply click and delete. Now go to the output folder and drag and drop our 3D. Okay, now unlock this lock, reset. So the steering wheel is added. Now let's make sure you have this pivot T selected over here and it's local in all the time, because that's much easier to work with. Okay, so now let's move the steering wheel over here and rotate it like this. See, now I am rotating not the 3D mesh but the steering wheel object that's already inside the vehicle. Okay, so go to the front view, move it to this side. Okay, so I think this is okay. And you can see the steering wheel objects material is not correct because I think I forgot to add the chromium material here. So in order to make a reflective metallic steel similar material, you can increase the metallic and reduce the roughness. So now you can see it's reflective. Okay, all the things is reflective right now. You can see the pipes. Okay, so the steering wheel is also reflective, but in game you have to make sure it's not that reflective, because sometimes when the sunlight directly hit on this thing, it will blow when the post-process effect is turned on. So in some cases you have to reduce the brightness of this material. Okay. Anyway, steering wheel is configured. Now let's check how to configure the meter console. Okay. So we already exported the meter console or meter needle, but we don't need this because we already have needles that is located over here. Okay, so it's actually under the meter, but it's there. Okay, so we already have this needle. So in order to remove this already exported one, select that one. Okay, just tick here. So it's basically disabling. We are just basically disabling this needle. And let's delete all these remaining needles. We only need one. We first configure this needle with the speedometer, then simply duplicate and move to RPM and fuel meter. Okay, so the first thing is to reset the rotation back to 000. Go to side view, orthographic. In order to switch between orthographic and perspective, you can click on the center square. So even if you are in a different perspective, you can see a cube inside. So if you click on that cube, you can change the perspective and orthographic view. Okay, So now go to wireframe view so we can perfectly align the rotation. I already told you for switching between these tools, WER, okay. So now the rotation is correct. Now let's move this needle to speedometer area, and you can see it's almost under the meter, so move it a bit up. Okay, now the scale is a bit high, so I'm reducing the scale. So if now I reduce the scale, you can see it's only happening on the x-axis. So in order to do it on all axes, just enable this thing. Now rotate it on the green line and increase this scale again so we can perfectly configure it. Okay, now rotate it on the green line and make sure it's perfectly working. The position is not that accurate, so it's having some issue. Okay, now the rotation is correct, so set to the 0 point. First set the maximum value, it's 160, so 160, then record the start rotation. Okay, I clicked on that. Now rotate it to the end value 160, and before recording the end rotation you have to check this inverse. Okay, so right now in order to rotate from 0 to 160, this is the short path, but we need the longest path here. So if we want to take the longest path or longest rotation, then we have to enable inverse and then record end rotation. Okay, so now you see the max rotation value is changed. And if you enable the debug mode and if you change the value, you can see this is correctly working to 160. Okay, now reset back to 0 and disable the debug. So now let's assume you have 0 over here and you have to rotate it back to this point. So then place it over here, record the start point, enable the inverse because we still need to take the longest path. Okay, so rotate it to the end point and recorded it, but this time we don't need the needle to rotate on the clockwise direction but in the anti-clockwise direction. So in that case, after recording the end point, we have to add the negative value. So if we add the debug value now, you can see the needle is rotating in the opposite direction. Okay, so if we didn't add this negative value, then the needle will only rotate in the clockwise direction, so the entire thing will be different. So anyway, I am disabling this thing and setting to the start point, recording the start point. So we need the longest path, so keeping the inverse and recording the end rotation, and set the speedometer and maximum value to 160. Now I am just simply clicking Ctrl D and duplicating. Now I am moving into this meter, I mean RPM meter. Okay, so this is the end point already. Before that, let's rotate and make sure you only selecting the green line. Okay, so the rotation is almost accurate. So starting point, record start point, we needs to take the longest path, so the inverse is enabled. End point, record end point, and for the maximum value it's 3000 RPM, so 3000. So enable debugging and 500, it's almost 500 working. Okay, yes, near 1000, that's working to 1500, 2000, 2500, 3000. So everything is working. Reset back to 0 and disable the debug mode. Now now change from speedometer to RPM meter, duplicate it again, move it to the fuel gauge meter. Here the things are a bit different. We have to scale it down. Actually it's very hard because it's a very small value, so I'm gonna use this thing. Okay, now move it over here, rotate to E, and I think it's a bit over. Okay, Okay, now everything is fine. Now I am recording the starting point. For the maximum value, in case of fuel meter, we can enter anything, because in the game I will override it. In the game itself, I am overriding the value. So you can add max value anything for the debugging purpose. But here you can see we need the shortest path, like from here to here. It's the shortest path, not this longest path. So we have to disable the inverse and record the endpoint. So if I check, it's working fine without any issue. So all the fuel gauge speedometer needles are done. So let's override and apply. So the meter is configured. Now let's check on camera, how to configure camera. So like you already know, we moved this game view to the bottom. Go to main camera, add a component, search for brain. So you can see Cinemachine brain, not the brain event, brain. Click on that. Now you can see the camera is moved to somewhere else. And if you check here, there is Cinemachine camera. So underneath that there is four cameras. So 1 and 3 is basically like our human head, like rotating to the left, right, up and down. 2 and 4 is basically for looking around the vehicle, and in case of 2, the front or the rotation is basically handled by the gear. So if we are on the drive gear, then camera will be located on the back of the vehicle. If we are on reverse gear, then camera will rotate to the front and look in the back direction. So in order to configure this camera, select the camera, click on solo. If you select any object, any other object, this solo selection will be gone. So make sure you click on solo every time you click on the camera. Okay. And after selecting this camera, if you click on F and go to side view, you can see the camera inside over here. See, you can see this white line, that's basically the camera. Okay. Now there is follow offset. So if you select this thing, you can move it, and there is lens. Basically this lens, with the lens you can change the FOV also. So I'm keeping it at 50 and moving this camera a bit back, moving it a bit up. Sorry, this is not the that is not the value. Okay, so the position is set. You can see it from here, and there is this pan axis and tilt axis. In case of pan axis is, if you change the value, you can see it's going right and left, and on the right you can see the seat is a bit, you can see the seat here. So I am moving the value camera to a bit front. Okay, so this is the pan axis, and you can see the range. This is the maximum left and maximum right. You can change that value, like if this is 65 now, so I can let's say it's 180. So now I can rotate it back like this. Okay, so you can basically set the range also. It's not limited to any value. And the center value basically means, let's say you wants to look straight, so I will set it to 0. So when the camera changes or first comes, what is the default value will be, that's what basically mean by center. So let's say I want this camera to look from this angle. When the camera switches to this one, like for the very first time, then you have to make sure the center value is -25. So the camera will start from this angle. So that's the basic thing. In my case, I need it to be 0. Tilt means up and down, and in my case I want the camera to be at this angle, like 3.75 in the beginning. So I am setting this as the center value. Okay, now go to the second camera. Basically I will suggest you to leave the second camera because it's automatically handled. So it's much better to configure the fourth camera, then copy that value back to second camera. That will be much better. Okay, so now let's switch to third camera. Go to solo view. I think in this case the pan and everything is much better. I think the center value needs to be changed to 23. Okay, and pan and tilt, maybe this one 4.58. Okay, so this is good in my opinion. Okay, so the third camera is configured. Now click on the fourth camera and click on solo. So in case of fourth and second camera, the control is a bit different. You can see horizontal, vertical and radial axis. So radial axis value basically mean maximum zoom out and in. Okay, vertical value means maximum up and down. Horizontal means the this thing. Okay, so if you click on 90 on horizontal, you can see with the maximum zoom in, you can see there is a yellow point over here, and you can see it's not the actual center. The actual center is going to be somewhere here. So what you have to do is hard look at this negative value. You have to move it to this center point. Okay, so I'm just keeping it over here, and maybe a 1 meter up also. Okay, and I suggest to make sure this target offset is also at the center point. So sorry, negative 5.5. So now you can see when we changed the target offset z value and look offset z value to the exact center of the vehicle, you can see this gap and this gap is almost same, and that's a very good thing. Now you can zoom out and in. Let's set the horizontal to 180 degrees, so the front you can set it by the from the front. So this is the maximum zoom I want, 0.5. So I am setting the range to 0.5, and this is too much. I think this is the maximum zoom out I want, so it's basically 1.45. So I'm setting the range to 1.45. Okay, and I need the default value to be 0 from the back, and vertical and zoom value to be somewhere like this, vertical a bit more, so 15.9. So 0.9 is good, so I'm keeping the center and value to 0.9 and 15 here. So now we can copy the value to the second camera, but do not copy horizontal axis, only vertical and radial axis. Then this hard look at, and there was one more thing, this target offset. So let's begin from the top. So right click, copy, select the second camera and paste it. Right click on vertical axis itself, copy, select this thing, paste it. Now this look at also. Sorry, actually I had to copy it from here. Okay, so now all the cameras is configured, and if you want to add additional camera, you have to choose from 3 or 4. Okay, so if you want a human like head camera rotation, then choose the 3, or choose the fourth one and control D for duplication and configure it like how you want it. Then select this cinemation camera and expand these two lists and add it to both lists. Okay, do not change anything until 3. Okay, only add, or if you don't need it, then you have to, like I said, remove it from the list also. Now apply all the overrides. So the camera configuration is done. So related to vehicle physics, the weight is located over here. Center of mass is actually applied by this object's position, and there is vehicle configuration. So if you come over here to this point and go to project section, so now you can click on this, so it will show the file here. It will show the steer angle and brake force on this thing. So you can see we are using the same settings as KSRTC. That's why the BSK2 is here. So steer angle is 45 and brake torque is 2400. If you go to engine configuration, you can see this file, and this is already configured, but I am just explaining for if you need more customization. Okay, so this is engine torque curve. You can see the 0 and 2500. This is the RPM range on the x-axis, and this is the torque curve. You can see on around 1250 it's going up to 2500, and on idle this will generate 1000 Newton meter. So this is for simulating the RPM, torque curve. So on higher RPM, the engine will produce a less force, and basically this work as a speed limiting. Okay, you can add any points as much as you want. You can change it like this, or if you click on this thing and edit, you can change the value over here. So basically time means RPM and value means the torque power. And there is also a friction curve, which is basically an opposite force, preventing the engine from running. Like if you reach 2000 RPM and release the accelerator, then this force will be applied to the vehicle to slow down. Okay. Then the maximum engine RPM, idle RPM, acceleration RPM means how much the engine rev needs to increase when we apply the accelerator. So this create a basic acceleration when you initially press the accelerator, and this is for the maximum acceleration value while in neutral. Okay, like if you press the accelerator, the maximum RPM will be idle RPM plus acceleration RPM plus acceleration max RPM. So basically in this case it's going to be 2350. Okay, then gear down RPM, gear up RPM, then delta engine RPM means how fast the engine RPM needs to change. So in this case the engine RPM only change 1000 per second. Okay, now if you go to gearbox, there is also another configuration, and in this case we have to configure it again. So let's reset every value. And the wheel radius right now it's 0.55 because we already configured it. And select the engine RPM you want to shift up, and select the engine RPM you want to shift down. And you can see in here the gear up is a bit above than what we given here, because this is to create a more raise and shift situation. Okay, and target RPM on gear up is also a bit higher than gear down. This is intentional. You have to add it like this. Otherwise, if you shift from the 1500 RPM to the next gear, and if the gear drops on 1000 RPM itself, then the gear will shift down again. So that's why we need to add a bit more RPM over here. Okay, now let's say we have a 6 gear engine. So everything is 0. So now add a final drive ratio, some value, and some value over here also. Click on update, so it will show the gear up and down speed over here in kilometers. Okay, so basically this thing will gear up in 12 kilometer per hour, and the maximum this is 60. So let's reduce this gear. So now it's 73. Now let's reduce the final drive ratio also. So now it's 91 maximum speed. So this is actually not the maximum speed. The vehicle will go beyond the speed. This is the actual speed on 1500 RPM, but our vehicle can go up to 2000 RPM. So basically the speed will be more than 91. Okay, so this is how you configure the gearbox, and make sure you add the first gear ratio to reverse, otherwise the vehicle's reverse gear won't work if it's 0. Okay, so that part is done. Now it's engine sound. This is going to be very hard to configure, so don't do this thing. I recommend you to just simply click on this mixer and double click and open it. So on the master you can see some effects added here. So if you want to, you can boost some frequencies like bass and treble. You can shift, you can boost like this. You can shift the frequency to which range you need. You can increase the range. You can even add one more same effect over here and do the same. So try to change the engine sound like this. And basically this is KSRTC sound filter. So I want the first vehicle sound, so I am removing this filter from here. Okay, So basically this engine sound is same as the first vehicle, BSK1 vehicle, but I changed it to KSRTC by doing that sound effect, adding that sound effect. Okay. So I'm just explaining this thing because if you want to, you can change it if you are that much sure or confident. Okay. So if you look over here, you can see multiple audio source with the multiple engine sound added or attached with this thing. So you can change these files. You can basically play this file and detect which RPM range it to represent, and you can replace it with the engine sound you want. Or you can change it from here, like for each engine audio source I have given a minimum RPM and maximum RPM range in which the audio source will be played, and there is a fade in and out RPM. So from 300 RPM to 100 RPM range, like 300 plus 100, so 300 to 400 RPM range, the sound will be 0, then it will increase to 1, and from so on the 550 RPM the volume will be 0, but and it starts to fade from 150 RPM ago, like 550 minus 150, that is around 400. So from 400 the sound, the volume will be dropped to 0 when it reaches to 5. Basically it's a fade in fade out RPM range from this thing, so the volume will increase and go down. Then root pitch RPM means the basic RPM this audio clip is playing. Minimum pitch is the pitch for this minimum RPM. Okay. So in order to test that, what you have to do, go to main camera, add a audio source, and play on awake, enable play on awake, and enable loop, then add your engine sound and hit play. So you can hear, make sure this speaker is enabled, otherwise the sound will be very low. Okay, so you can hear you can basically hear the sound. So you can adjust the pitch here, so you can see the RPM varies. Okay, so that's how you can test the audio clip and assign this value. So it's going to be very difficult, so I recommend not to change. I will add more sound as I get proper engine way sounds. Okay, so just don't try to edit anything, this is going to be very hard. Now let's configure the vehicle light. So this is going to be very interesting. Go to the material section. Like I said, we only have two light material. So I'm duplicating the front material first and setting to BSK1 vehicle normal, enabling the emission and emission power to 5 for EC detection. Okay. Now I am drag and dropping this material to, sorry, those lights. And in case of indicator we need blinking lights, so let's duplicate this again, and instead of BSK vehicle normal light, choose blinking light. Okay, the park light is already joined with this one, so this is already lighting, and this one is also lit. Now let's go to meter. Okay, so in case of meter, yeah, just duplicate it. I am duplicating this material because I don't know does this material is used in any other object that's not emitting any light, so that's the only reason I am duplicating this material. So now go to BSK vehicle light normal emission. For meter emission power 1 is good enough, so drag and drop. Now there is interior light. So interior light is actually using the same material as the rear light. So I'm duplicating this one. Go to BSK common, sorry, not common, vehicle light normal emission power 5. Added it. Now go over here. Okay, now duplicate it again for the indicator light. So material configuration is done. Now what you have to do, just disable this emission. Otherwise, when you load the mode, every light will be already lit. You have to turn on and off again to make it disable. Okay. So we already have meter, so disable the emission on meter also. Now there is it's not done completely. There is one more thing to do. Select each of this light and add a component called vehicle light mesh, and you can select which light type it is. So park, dim, bright, left, right, brake, reverse, additional light 1 2 3. So now select this one, do the same, but this time it's dim. Select this one, do the same, park. This is left indicator. um, the gizmo is on. Because of that, it's very hard to select the object, so we can disable the gizmo from here. So this is the right indicator. Select the meter. Meter is on park, and for this needles, because it's already made from my side, it's already have this light measure spark, so no issues with that. Now select this interior light, and let's set this for additional light switch. Okay, so additional light 1. Now go to the rear side and configure again. So this one is park, sorry, brake. This one is for reverse. This is actually park, so only needs to add. Now this is left side indicator, left indicator, and this one is for right indicator. Okay, so I think all light is configured without any issue. So overrides apply everything. Now we have to work on the animation. So in order to do that, select this object, go to window, animation, animation, and attach this window over here. Okay, so if you select this object and select over here, you can see door closed, open, wiper off, and on animation listed over here. So now let's go to door closed, and this warning is basically for KSRTC because we deleted those doors. So let's remove it and go to side view, select this door, enable this record button, and in our case we only need to change the rotation of this object, so only click on rotation and add key. Now select the second door, right click, add key. If you want to change the position also, then click on position and add key. Okay, so it's that simple. Now go to door open section. Make sure you select those animations correctly, otherwise it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Okay, so make sure you choose the or select the objects correctly. Okay, so now it's door open, and enable the recording. This remove this old files. Okay, select the door, hit on F for a focus, go to rotation. Now rotate it. Okay, because of this recording is enabled, you can see it's already added over here. Okay, now select the other part and rotate it back. Okay, so you can see the plane is also added over here. Now do the same, rotate it. As we already rotated, now we know the value is going to be -81. select the other section, and for the other section also we already know the value is going to be 169, so we can simply paste it over here. Okay, so if you now go to door closed, it's door closed, and if you now go to door open, it's not changed because you have to enable this preview, so now it's open. Okay, okay, so now disable this recording, disable this preview mode. Otherwise, if you make any changes to anything, it's going to be recorded on the animation. So make sure right after you finish this animation system, you have to disable recording, and right after you finished previewing the animation, you have to disable the preview also. Like if I enable the preview, see the door is open because the door open animation is the one which is selected. So disable it also. Now go to wiper, and in case of wiper I am not sure, there might be some issues. So delete the old one, go to the front view perfectly, select the wiper, hit F and enable recording. This is wiper off, so we need the off position. So add key, select this one, add key. Now select this, control hit C, control C, go to wiper on position, remove these two, control V. Now go to the 60th frame, control V. Now go to 30th frame. Now enable the recording and preview. Rotate only on the green line. Okay. Select the other wiper. Rotate only on the green line. Okay. Make sure it's on pivot and local. Now if you play, you can see the wiper is working fine. But there is an issue. I'm not sure why this thing is happening even after I configured the axis perfectly fine. I had no clue. Okay, so you can see this second wiper is going through the glass. I have no idea why this thing is happening for this wiper only. Okay, maybe what if it's rotating in the opposite direction? This is just testing. See, in that case also we have issue. I'm not sure why this thing is happening in this case. Something with the 3D, I am not sure. Okay, so in that case, how to fix those issues is like, so on the 15th frame, you can see it's very going inside, and the two wipers are going inside. Before that was not the case. Okay, anyway, let's fix that. Okay. So on the 15th frame, it's going very inside. So just use the Z and X to make it outside. So now if we play, at least this area, it's working fine. Okay. So now let's copy this thing and copy it to the 45th frame. So now it's working fine without that much of an issue. Now let's check it from the front view. Hit play. Okay, not that much of any issues. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the other side and make changes to the other wiper. So in its case also on 15th frame it's going very inside. So on the Z and X axis make changes. When you make changes, make sure it's recording. Okay. Now just select on this one and go straight over here. Select on this dot. So everything beneath that will be selected. Copy it, go to 45th and play. So now if we hit play, now these animations are working fine. Only this part is having some trouble. Okay, so from the front it's working fine, no issues. Here also no issues. Okay, so that animation, so both the door and wiper animation is complete. Now we can disable this recording and stop playing this animation and disable the preview also. Okay, so right now go to here, apply, override, file, save, because these animations are not saved to this file, it's a separate thing. Okay, now there is one more thing, that is disable the preview. That is to add the wiper mask image. So in order to do that, go to this vehicle animation manager section. You can see a wiper mask texture already, but this is for KSRTC. So how to create this thing is, you have to create a black to white gradient, which indicate black means the starting point and white means the end point. And basically we are using the same glass that we used to for skin. So you have to create this thing based on the skin image. Like if you look, uh, if you go to your skin image, okay, the wiper will be located over here, so you have to create a black to white gradient like this on the skin itself. Okay, not on the skin, but based on this image, where the wiper will be, you have to take the skin image and check whether where the wiper is located and where it will be, and based on this image you have to create the wiper image. So in my case, I think I already have one. I'm not sure. I already had one. uh, I think this is not. Okay, this is for another vehicle. Okay, okay, so this is the one. If I double click and open, and if you compare both the images, you can see it's on the same position as this wiper. Okay, so that's what I said. We are using the same glass that is using this image, so you have to create this black to white image based on this image. Okay, so I will show you how what I mean. I am very bad at English, that's why I am showing you what I really mean. Okay, so basically what I mean, we are going to use the same glass that we adding the skin image. So the wiper position will be from here to here. So in my case, if you look this wiper mask image, basically its resolution is very low. That's the thing. So if I increase the height and width to 4096 into, oh, perfect fit, and reduce it. See, you can see this is located on right where the wiper is located on the skin. Okay, and there is one more thing. Even if the glass is not used in the skin image, you have to properly unwrap it based on the main glass. Okay, let's say we have side glass in our 3D right now. So let's say you are not going to add any skin to here, so you just completely ignore the side glasses and its UV is damaged or you didn't done it properly. Okay, let's assume something like that. Then the main glass will be having a proper raindrop and wiper animation happening there. But for other glasses, the raindrop will be big or small, or even if it doesn't even show, or if these other glasses are overlapping with this area in the image, then the wiper will also work on the side glasses also. So make sure you properly unwrap the wiper glasses. Okay. So let's drag and drop this wiper mask and reduce the size. It's also a 2K. It's not really needed. We only need 512 because no one is going to see this image. Okay. So now select this thing and drag and drop this wiper mask over here. So that part is done. Now what we have to do is a very simple thing. Click on this thing, layer, make sure it's player layer. Yes, children also. Okay. Now override and apply everything. Now just click on here and search for glass. Okay, so now you can see all the glasses. I don't know which glass is this thing, so we can simply ignore this one. This is an inside one. So now I am selecting all these glasses, hitting Control D for duplicating. So all these glasses are duplicated. And now I am going to create a new material here. Create material called raindrop. Okay, what's the material? Raindrop. Okay, now my selection is already gone, but you can see the duplicated things having this bracket one on the last, so it's going to be very easy to select it again. Now drag and drop this raindrop over here, and now we can clear this selection from here. Okay, so now you can see all the glasses as white, but the livery glass is already there. Okay, now if you select this one and click on base map, you can see a raindrop, a green image over here. So just double click it. And if you look into it from a side view, you can see red and green black colors there, and the red is the actual raindrop. Okay, so if you increase the tiling here, not there is two tiling in the detailed input section and on the surface input section, so you have to change the tiling in surface input section. So I think 6 is quite good for me. Just check whether the raindrop size is good or not. So I think this is pretty good, not that much errors or anything like that. Okay, so the 6 is good. Now let's change this from BSK to rain and raindrop. Okay, now set the tiling as same, strength to 1, inside area 0 or 1, anything, no issues. Okay, so the material configuration is done and you can see the glass is already gone, but you have to search glass again and select these same glasses that we created. Make sure you didn't select anything that is other than the duplicated ones. Okay, so everything is selected. You can see the material is already done. Now switch from layer player to rain. Okay, so all the duplicated rain glass is on layer rain. Now there is one more thing, which is to select the main glass, the duplicated main glass. As we given a proper naming, it's much easier to select. Okay, now click on box collider. If you enable this gizmo, you can see a green box is created over here. Okay, around this main glass. Now type none, so non rain area detector. And for the box collider, make sure you enable ease trigger enabled. Okay, so what this basically do is when this box go inside garage or inside petrol pump, then basically there will be no rain, right? So it will simply fade out the raindrops from the glass. So if you didn't configure this box collider and rain detector, non-rain area detector, then it will always show the raindrops even if you are inside the garage or petrol pump. And basically what this is means, if the main glass is entering this area, all the remaining glass will fade out the rain. So it doesn't matter whether the back is already out or not. If the main glass is entered, then every glass is going to every water drop from every glass is going to fade out. Okay, so now let's remove this thing and apply everything. So all or everything related to the rain is done. Now we have to do one more thing, that is called the door entry and exit point. So just go to the side view, and if you go over here to the door entry points, there is front door. So front door is already good. Go to rear door is very bad, so locate it. So this is the point where the player or the passenger is going to enter. If you have only one door, then you can delete the rear door from here like this, but you also have to go to driver player script and there is door entry point and you have to remove it. If you need 3 points, then you can basically duplicate and create another point and add this thing here. So if there is more than 2 passengers, then they will choose a random door point. Okay, so anyway, it's not needed in our case because it's just 2 point. And the one thing you have to make sure is this point needs to be not keep it very close to the vehicle, just keep it some distance. Okay, the up and down is not an issue, but don't keep it close to the vehicle, just keep some distance. That's the main thing. So now overrides apply. Now we needs to do mirror. So in order to do mirror, go to BSK vehicle and vehicle. So there is mirror left and right image. This is a special kind of image called render texture. You can see the format. So now what you have to do is right click, create a new material called mirror right, and select the shader as universal render pipeline unlit. Okay, now drag the right image to here because this is the right mirror. Now duplicate the material with Control D and rename using F2. You can use F2 for renaming. So left and drag and drop this thing over here. Okay, now what you have to do is to, this is the left mirror, so simply drag and drop the left mirror. The center mirror is also going to use as the left side, so drag and drop the same. And for this you can see the mirror is actually missing. Something happened here, so let's investigate that. Okay, so in order to do that, we have to open the Blender file again, and now I will show you how to re-import the 3D without any issues. Okay, so go to layout and enable the default collection. So I think, yeah, here also it's missing. So now let's search for mirror because we properly named it. So there is mirror right. Mirror right. If we focus on that, its location is changed. Its location is changed. That's the main issue. Okay. So let's replace it. I think now it's going to be very hard to relocate this thing. Okay, so that's the thing. Z. So the mirror is almost configured perfectly fine, and maybe just check what's wrong with this one. I think the issue is, in our case, the forward axis is actually y minus, basically this direction, but here it's on the back side. I'm not sure, but anyway, we fixed the issue in Unity, so basically we don't have to bother about it anymore. Okay, so we can just leave it here. So now let's select every object, make sure the empty is the active one, file, export FBX. The same settings, in my case I already created the preset. It's very easy to create a preset. You choose all these settings and click on this add button and give a name. Okay, so that's all. So now output body. Okay, so it's exported again. Now go to Unity, BS, the output folder. This is the body 3D file that's we already imported. So right click, show in Explorer. So the 3D is here. Creating or opening a new window, going to desktop and the file we created. So copying it from here, pasting it on the Unity folder and replacing it, coming over here. So now you can see the mirror is already here, but there is a thing, that is, if you manually changed the position like this, and if you click on overrides, you can see the transform is changed, the position is changed, and click on the apply button from here. So if you did something like this, then this is not going to reset the for the location automatically, because you overdone the location. So Unity won't reset it back until you change the changes, undo the changes. Okay. Okay, so alright, apply. This is basically the material change, and we needs to change this one's material also. Okay, so mirror right is added over here. Now about the camera configuration, I mean the mirror camera configuration, go to this mirror section, go to mirror right, enable this camera, and if you go to this output section, you can drag and drop this mirror texture to this output texture. So now you can see the thing over here, but basically I think we rotated the mirror in the opposite direction. It's upside down. So now go again, right side mirror, front view, rotate 180-degree. I think this no, not good, not good. Now rotate it. Okay, front view, rotate it. Okay, do the same thing, select again, file, export FBX, body, go to the file explorer. The folder is already open in my case, so Control V, replace, going to Unity. So now it's correctly working. You can move this camera, you can see that, moving it down, then it's already overlapping, so moving it to forward. Now you can do is go to transform and click over here, copy component, go to the left side, go to transform, paste component values. So the camera is basically located on this, I mean the left mirror is also now on the right side. So enable the camera and add this texture, and instead of 1, in order to move to the left side, add negative. So now the left side mirror is done over here, and if you needs to change any rotations like this or that, you can do that also. Now select both the mirror camera, disable the camera, and select on output texture and hit backspace to remove the structure. Okay, so Control S, Control body, override. So mirror section is also completed, and the rain thing is done. And regarding the headlight, there is something called spotlight. So if you go to this side view, make sure this yellow line is not touching the vehicle. If it's touched, just move it forward. Okay, so this is basically the headlight projection. You can rotate it if you need more light on the sun, I mean to the top. Okay, something like that. So override and apply. So now this is for basic thing. If you needs to know how to make configurable joins, I mean basically you can create physics joins or physics object in Unity with the Unity's own physics and things. So if you need something like that, just search on YouTube on how to use configurable joint. Or if you uh, okay, so if you select this one, basically its scale is not 1, it's 0.00, so this is not very suitable. So I am going to change one of this object's scale. Okay, so basically this is called a dream catcher, so we will need to use the dream catcher 000. Okay, so this green one, and if you look over here, the rotation is changed a bit, so reset it, and the scale is 0.001. So Control A and apply the scale, and this is the parent. Don't worry about the child's scale, just make sure the parent or the one we attach the joint is having a good scale like this one. Okay, now I have to export this again because I changed the scale. So file, export fpx body, do the same thing, copy it from here and paste it over here, replace it. So now if I go to Unity, you can see the scale is changed to 111. Okay, so in order to make this join, we need multiple things. We need a rigid body to act as a physics, I mean in order to work the gravity, and a collider to create a shape. So basically I think we will select this ring and add a box collider. So you can see it's a very thin, but it's okay. Now select this one and add a configurable joint. Okay, if you just simply search joint, you can see character joint, configurable joint, there is a fixed joint, hinged joint, spring joint if you need a bouncing ball, something like that. Don't use anything with the 2D because it's a separate thing. Okay, that's only for 2D. Okay, so in my case I am going to use a configurable joint, and this is already added a rigid body, and make sure to give a mass. This is basically 1 kilo, so that's not the case in this thing. It's going to be 0.1 for 100 gram. Basically type your weight in gram, and if it's in gram, divide it by 1000. So if it's in kilogram, then just type it directly. Okay, so in case of 100 gram, 100 divided by 1000. So it's added configurable joint. You can see a connected body, so just simply select this condody and drag and drop it, because the condody is having a rigid body. So basically this will be attached to this rigid body, I mean with the vehicle. So there is many thing more like the motion, because we don't need this thing to move, we only need this to rotate. So basically we have to lock every motion, and if you need the angle to be limited, like in case of this here we call this konda. So in this item's case, if it freely rotate, we cannot freely rotate it on the y-axis or z-axis. We only needs to rotate on the x-axis. So in that case, we have to log the angular moment of y and z in case of this thing. Okay, so this one, we only want it to rotate not like this, like this, right? We don't want to rotate it like this or like this. So in that case, we have to limit the rotation like I did on the y and z. We only needs to rotate on the z. Okay. So, but here we need everything to be freely rotated without an issue. Okay. So, go to Control D, apply overrides, and hit the play button. And in order to test these joins, it's much easy to do it this way. Hit play. Now you can see this thing is moving. And if you want this, see, it's keep moving like that. But if you want this to be stop after some time, then there is angular x and angular xy drive. So if you add some value like 1 and 0.1 for damping, now you can rotate it manually like this. So now you can see it's suddenly dropping the value, so we can reduce it 0.01. See, now it's now the rotation is stopping much better. So this value, I mean the relation between these two values basically very simple. If I add 0.05 here, then I will simply multiply the same value with the 0.1, like 10% of it. See, now it's much smoother. So like I said, this is now in play mode. If I stop this thing, then this value will be just gone. So it's much better to click from here and copy the component value, then stop it and paste component value here. So now if I click on play, see, now the physics is working. And only try to rotate and check this thing while in play mode. If you rotate this thing while you are not in play mode, then the orientation and angle lock, everything is going to change. Okay, so this is how basically you configure this joint. And like if you have a spring ball, like a rubber band ball or something like that, then you can use the spring joint there. Okay, so that's how you do physics joint. And whenever you add a custom collider to any objects like this, make sure you have a rigid body attached to its parent or to that object, because um, this will this is going to have some issue with the bus stop point. Like let's say we have a collider for this mic, and when you stop the vehicle on the bus stop or on the bus stand and this mic just exited that area, then that will treat it as like the bus is exited the area. So make sure if you add any collider to any object, you need a rigid body attached to that object or to its parent. In our case, it's the child. Like this object is having a collider, but its parent is having a separate rigid body, so no issues. So make sure that. And when you add this rigid body, the gravity is going to affect on this thing. So if you add a rigid body to the steering wheel will drop. So in order to prevent that, maybe you can add a fixed joint to the vehicle, so it will keep it there without moving. So that's how you have to handle additional colliders. Okay, so now let's talk about the mode building. So before creating any mode, just make sure you click on the prefab, overrides, apply everything, and select this location. You can see a version asset here, or if you don't find a version asset, you can right click, create, and a mode version. Okay, so but make sure the name is version asset to avoid any conflict. Okay, here you can add the icon, I mean basically your team icon. So in our case we already have a team icon, like on the output folder body we already have his icon. Okay, so just duplicate it. We cannot directly use this thing, we have to change the texture type to sprite 2D and select single from here and hit apply. Make sure this transparency and everything is enabled. Okay, now let's go to BSK to the version asset. Click over here, you can see all the compatible images. So now choose this, select any mode name, any team name, any descriptions, any YouTube link, and your support link like Facebook or Instagram link for any support related items or suggestions basically. Okay, so just give it like this, and now hit save. Make sure this thing is all overrides are applied. Now the important thing is go to asset bundle, create new, and give a unique name. Unique name means if this name conflict with any other models vehicle, then it's going to be very difficult. The player cannot load your mod. So you have to make sure your mod name is truly unique. Okay. So like if I create a mod, then I will add something like gamer chunks, like my channel name, underscore then the Kondodi V2 BS4 something like this. So if I hit enter, actually it's much better to avoid spaces here. Okay, so try to avoid capital letters and spaces. Use only underscore and character and numbers. Okay, character numbers in small letter without space. Okay, so I given this name. Now select the version asset, select the same. Okay, now go to Windows, sorry, modding and Android build. So this will generate a mod file, and for the first time build it's going to take a very long time. Not a very big long time, but it's definitely going to take some time. But for the second and third build, it's going to be very fast. Let's check how much time this is taking. Okay, so this is a live stream, so I'm not fast forwarding or doing anything crazy like that. So it's just real time. Okay, so within a minute the conversion is done. Let's check what if I do this again. So I'm again hitting Android build just for checking the time differences. Okay. See, it's already done. So the second time it was very fast. So the mode will be built on if you go to asset and click on this mode, you have to right click and show in Explorer. So in the mode folder there will be Android, and with the exact file name there will be something. See, gamerchunks kondodi bs4.bsk. Bsk is the file extension. So this is the file you have to share with other people. So you can see it's just 10 MB because we already optimized the textures and everything. So it's that small. And there is one more thing. In order to test this within your computer, you can go to modding and Windows build. So this is going to create a Windows mod, but in order to test this, you need the game. So I will show you um, how to download and configure the game. Okay. So for PC it's already 26 seconds. For Android that was finished in 56 seconds for the first time, and second time that was very small, like 10 or 20 seconds. So for Windows, taking the build is took longer than the Android one. And I think that's because basically you can see now the project is called Windows Mac Linux instead of Android, because while we take the Windows build, the project actually switched to Windows and taking the build. I think that's the reason this is taking too much longer than Android, because in case of Android, we are already in Android mode. See, now it's switched back to Android again. Okay. So the mode will be in the same folder, like the project folder asset. There will be modes folder for Android and Windows. Separate folder is there. So in case of Windows, you can see the BSK file. Okay. So for Windows, it's actually only 6 MB. I don't know why it's like that. Anyway, copy this thing, and before copying, just keep this window. Okay. So before copying, I will tell you how to open the game here. Okay. So over here you downloaded this Windows build.zip also, right? Uh, Actually I told you to download that thing. So if you extract this Windows build.zip file, you can see a Windows build a exe file here, but you cannot directly open this thing due to some antivirus restrictions. I don't know why it's happening. Maybe because it's not a published game. It's just a direct build. Okay. So in order to prevent that, you have to go to Windows Security, and you can trust me because I done nothing virus here. If it's a virus, then antivirus will remove this file. Okay. Now it's like mostly like they are not letting you to open this thing because of the unknown publisher. It will show basically a simple warning. So in order to avoid that, go to virus threat protection, go to virus threat protection and manage settings. If you scroll down, you can add an exclusion. So they will ask for an yes or no. Click on yes. And in my case, I already added this folder like this one. Okay, so if you click on add an exclusion, a folder, and if you select this Windows build as the folder, then you can just simply double click and it will open. So basically this is the warning. So if you click on more info and run anyway, you can see the publisher is unknown. This smart screen prevent an unrecognized app because it's not in the store or anywhere. So that's the only thing, that's the only reason they are preventing it. Okay, so you can click on run anyway. So this will basically open my game, and just wait until it's open. Okay, so now the game is open. You can simply close this thing. Now go to C user Ajas. In case of Ajas, instead of Ajas, it will be your username. Okay, and there will be an app data folder. You have to enable, like, go to options and view, then enable this show window files, show hidden files folder and drive. Okay, so app data gamer chunks player. Now right click and uh, just basically just copy this file to here. Okay, just try to copy it. Now just click F2 so the name will be selected. So Control C for copying it. Now right click new folder, Control V. So we created a folder with the same name but no .bsk extension on the folder. Okay, now move it over here, and now you have to open the game again. So for the initial time, you have to open the game and create all this folder will be created automatically, and you only have to create a folder for your mod. Then from the next time, you only have to come to main menu, move the replace the file there, and come back to main menu and enter again. So for the additional time. Okay. So now if you check, this is not the one. This is not the one. This is the one. See, gamer chunks controlled BS4 V2. So If you select this one, and if you don't have money, don't worry, you can just simply go to store and buy. Okay, it's that simple. And if you go to customization and player section, you can see my thing here, and with the mod name, link, and everything. See, in their case, it's already there. Okay, so now let's hit play. I'm reducing the volume. So first, yes, this horn is working. Actually, it's a hidden button, and this horn is also working. Now, animation. So wiper animation is working. Door animation is working. If I go to settings, day and night, and night time. Okay, so the bus stand light is affecting the vehicle. You can see a bit of lighting on the vehicle itself. Park light is lighting without any issue. Dim light is working. The beam is also working. Bright beam is also working. Bright light is also working. Left side indicator working without no issues. Right side indicator working, no issues. Hazard, both of them are working. We don't have any hazard specific lights. Okay, so brake is working, reverse is working. Okay, and if you check over here, you can see no animations, but there is one additional light. That's basically the interior light. Okay, so that's also working. And if you go to inside view, you can see the meter panel light is also working. Now let's switch to weather rain mode. Okay, so you can see the wiper is working. If I turned off the wiper, the rain is getting back. Now let's start the vehicle and move it to garage, or let's try taking a trip. Okay, so trip selection is working without any issue. So I'm just showing you guys the basic things you need to test before passing this to players. Okay, this hanging item is also working, and we only added this physics to only one items. Okay, mirror is working, no problems there. Okay, there is one more thing to check, which is we have to make sure with the door, the rain glass is also moving. Okay. So those things are working. Now there is one more thing, which is to go inside a petrol pump or on a garage, so that we can check whether the raindrop is disappearing or not. Okay, now let's open the door, and okay, they got in. Now let's stop only on the petrol pumps for checking that thing. I think the petrol pump is a bit we have a bit of distance, so be patient. Okay, so that's the petrol pump. Now let's turn off the wiper so we can gather more water on the glass. Okay, so just like this. Now you can see the water is disappearing and it's completely gone. Even though the back glass is outside, you can see the entire water drop is gone because, like I said, it's just basically where that box is. So in our case, it's the box collider was on the main glass. So that's the thing. So everything is working as expected, including physics and everything. So that's it, guys, for this live. I will create more videos on how to add custom lighting and everything by using Unity shader graph later, when I get hands into some special modes which require those features, and also about custom animations. Okay, here you can see no animations, so I will tell you how to add custom animations when I get a proper mode which needs these features. Okay guys, so thanks for watching the stream.